What's up, guys? Tim Halstead here for episode 37 of Now It's Fixing Up the 409 Cleveland. So if you've been keeping track of the episodes, so it's been quite a few weeks since I made a video. That's life. You know, I do what I can to make the videos and keep up with them, but I have other priorities. Here's where I'm at. Now, if you remember, this was a 408 Cleveland. And then I had rebuilt it with Don Rohde, great guy. He had died after that build. Before I even got to run it, I had a lot of issues with trying to get it to the track. 3 different times I was there and 3 different times I had a problem. Bottom line, I got the head back and I'm happy. It looks good. I had to have an area welded on it, and that's what kept me out from racing. And it had water in the cylinder from that crack, so I ended up taking the head off, getting it fixed, and I was putting it back together, and then I started taking out the valve train and checking everything out, and the valve in number 7 had some rust on it because it had gotten wet. So I took it out and cleaned it up, and it's still not up to how I feel it should be. Running 8200, there's some real fine pits in here, and at this point I don't feel comfortable running that RPM. So I talked with Darren Morgan, and what he said was he wants me to send the heads back to him. He can go ahead, and I have a set of titanium intake and exhaust valves I'd got from Dana Sniff, thanks Dana. But they won't fit the Secret A3 heads because the guides are 5/16 and those valves are stock Cleveland, which are 11/32. So what I'm going to do is have them put the titanium exhaust valves in here. That way I'll have both intake and exhaust valves, both titanium. And the seats look a little rough in some areas from sitting, and I just want them to go over it. I'm one of those deals where I don't want to take a chance with anything. With a valve, it's probably nothing because I sanded it down and you really can't see anything. But I'm real gun shy of having an issue. And that's one of the reasons I want to dyno this motor, to make sure I don't go through this again. Because like anybody, when you're doing work on something, the last thing you want to do is take it out after you've built it. It's heart-wrenching and heartbreaking. So, but the thing is, I didn't break it, and that's the important thing. So it's not a big, expensive ordeal. It's time-consuming, but that's what you do when you want to race. The other things that have been going on in the last 4 weeks is I want to give a big shout out. A lot of people have sent me things and helped me out, and I think it's important to recognize them. Like I said, I want to give a big shout out to, especially Darren for helping me with the head. I'm one of those guys, if something's not perfect, it bothers me, and I want everything perfect, just like it went together. I want the valve job brand new looking. I want every bit of horsepower I can get out of this combination, because I don't know if this block will be able to handle it. We all know Cleveland's have that Achilles heel being the block oiling system and then the cylinder wall thickness, but 4035, I ran a 4040 block for years, pounding the hell out of it till 8200, no big deal. Did crack after 5 years. So hopefully this block can get me a little bit of time while I work on the Track Boss, which is another update. I'll kind of give you some information on that. But I'll get the other head torn off. We'll probably do that in this episode and get things packed up and sent to you, Darren. He said 5 days you can have it turned around. That way I don't have to worry about it. And I'll finish setting up the valve springs. Much shouldn't change from that. When I initially did it, I marked everything and put them in a bag. One of the things I will mention, I run Yellowterra. I was talking to a guy, Mike P. Can't remember your name, Mike Parshauer or Parsher. But anyways, he contacted me about Yellowterra. I've been running them for well over 15 years. And really haven't had any failures with them. I did notice, though, one of the wheels was a little questionable when I've been evaluating the parts. Kind of worries me. There again, that failure aspect. I don't want to put this on a dyno and then have a rocker arm go. But I thought these would just press out, and it's not as easy as I thought, these roller tips. They're pretty cheap, but I think I'm going to end up buying a couple spares of the rocker arms just to have a couple, just in case I have a problem. But they work well. The bearings, I've had no issues with them. They're strong. Like I said, with these, there's a little pedestal, actually a saddle that sits here and keeps it from rotating, and it's roll pinned into the head. You can see it here, and that keeps it from rotating. then you don't need guide plates and stud girdle. So, but one thing I will tell you about Yellowterra, being an Australian company, there's parts are sometimes difficult to get in the U.S. There's a couple suppliers, you can look them up. But one thing I would recommend, if you're going to buy any, get some extra parts, just so you got them in hand, so you don't have an issue with like the adjuster. I've had that go before, and some of the shims they make to adjust for the geometry. Good stuff to have. But I don't know if I'm going to change those roller tips. What else do I want to mention? I want to give a shout out to Todd Fuchs, 351cleveland.net. Great site. Get on there and check out some stuff. He's been sponsoring me and helping me out, and that's cool. I also got to thank Blake Livingston. Blake, this is for you. I got this in the mail around Christmas time. It was pretty cool. Like a dead blow, rubber type combination hammer. Thanks, Blake. All the times in my video when I was using a metal hammer when I shouldn't have, he sent this to me, so thank you. I got this, and I got a Christmas card from him and his wife. Thank you, although it's already almost February. But thanks. We're going to put this in the drawer. And just so you know, I did have one, Blake, $3.99, but I must have whacked something hard and broke the hammer. I had it taped with furnace tape to get by, but it's not safe enough to be whaling on. But I appreciate that. Also, I want to thank Bob Entwistle. He has a Cougar. It's a 69, I think it's XR7 convertible, and he calls it Eleanor. So it's a beautiful car, beautiful paint, and he gave me this sticker for my valve cover, 408 Cleveland. So I'm going to put those on. Thanks, Robert. I appreciate that. I sold him a cam once. I think it was F238 way back in, I don't know, 2010. But thanks, Robert, for that. Also want to give a shout out to Jay Cushman. Him and I have been dealing a lot together. I got this. Don't ask me why I bought it, but it's kind of an interesting piece. This is the motor plate off Bob Glidden's Pinto. As per Jay, and I believe him, I know his, he doesn't mess around when it comes to authentic parts. But I got this, and I also got the mid plate for it. But it's pretty cool how they made this water pump. I think it says it's a C5, so 65 water pump welded onto this plate that's welded onto a motor plate. Pretty ingenious for pro stock guys back then. Welded onto the regular Cleveland backing plate. I like that. Probably hang it up. One-of-a-kind piece, unless somebody with a pro stock Pinto wants to buy it. And quick shout out to Zona de la Cruz. He sent me this plate. It's for a 9.5, but I could make it into a 9.2. Never had one. In case I decide to run an intake that needs a valley plate, still working on that. Manifold. But I like that. Never had one. You can make them yourself. I just want to kind of get an idea what they look like. Got a little bevel here to fit. Oh, by the way, that Jay Cushman also sent me the water pump that goes with that. Brand new in the box. Mr. Gasket. These are what they used in the pro stock days. You can see them on Glidden's motor. I've been trying to find a picture to see if that motor plate's on one of his engines, but it's been hard to really find an exact picture with that, where you can see it there. Want to give a shout out too to Brian Gilchrist. Brian sent me this nice Aeromotive A2000 pump. He didn't just send it to me, I bought it, but we got a good deal on it. Thanks, Brian, for that. Because I don't know, I'm thinking about switching over to Aeromotive because I got that pump or Magna Fuel. Not that Barry Grant ain't good, but I've had 2 failures with Barry Grant, and I just can't go through another episode. And I don't know, the pumps always served me well, and I had no issues with them, but sometimes you got to change. And I'm willing to take a chance just to see what it's like with a different fuel system. Although Aeromotive wants you to put 2 fuel filters, one pre and one post. And those filters are pretty pricey, but might be a good idea. Run it the way they want, then I can eliminate the fuel system. I won't have to worry about that, because I've had problems with the pumps breaking. One time with the wheel stand, it ground the impeller into the backing plate. I had an issue with that. The other time was it broke when I went to race. One of the impellers got caught or something on, I don't know, foreign body or whatever, and snapped off the impeller. And that was the last time I went to race, so I never got to make a run in this. And that's another reason I want to dyno it. I just don't want to have a problem. I've dynoed, this would be the third motor, and I've had a problem with each time I did it. Not terrible, but enough where I could fix it, and then I never had a problem after that. So I want to give those shout outs just because people are helping me, and I appreciate that. And I got a lot of subscribers tuning in now. There's like 680 now, so we're getting some steam. And what I wanted to do was kind of run by this one last graph, which is the weight savings. After that, I'm done with that unless people have questions. I don't know if people are into that, but I think what's good about it is the fact that you're getting an idea of what you're going to save on weight before you spend that money. And that's what we're all about, is trying to go faster. And one of the easiest ways is to reduce weight, whether you lose weight, which is much harder than, scraping off 9 pounds of undercoating on your car, or, drilling the doors or what have you. But here's a chart. Like I said before, my laser pointer is still out for repair, so I got this nice little dowel. Actually, it's cardboard tube. But let me give you the scenario. I switched over from Ford drum brakes, which are 10x2, and I switched over to Wilwood disc. And here's what we got to give you an idea of the rundown of the weight savings. Because like I said, that's a big expense. For the rear brakes, that's probably about, when I bought them, I think it was like $650. And that was like 2003, I think. But here we go, weight savings. And that's going from rear drum to disc. So a stock Ford 9-inch, and it is a 10-inch brake. The drum, hardware shoes, backing plate, and wheel cylinder weighs about 24 pounds for one side. So both of them are about 44 pounds. Don't hold me to the exact number. I'm just giving you a rough idea. The Wilwood setup. The rotor, the caliper, the bracket, and the pads. And you use the drum, or you have the bracket that bolts to the Ford 9-inch. It's pretty light. It's aluminum. That setup is 11 pounds. So both of those together is 23.56 pounds. So if you do the math, obviously 23.56 from the 48.44, you come up with 24.88 pounds. So almost 25 pounds just switching to disc brakes. That's a big difference. I forgot what the front was, but that was close to 25 or 30 pounds right there. Big savings. Just for your own edification, ProStar wheels, which are 15 by 10 inch with the tubes, and 28 by 10.5 slick, and that was bias ply back then. That weighed 36.6 pounds. So think about, I should weigh the wheel. I wonder what they weigh compared to some of those lightweight race wheels you see. Just again, FYI, I weighed the seats, the bottom of the seat and the top of the seat. The bottom is 21.22 pounds, and that's a Cougar. Mustang is probably the same thing, or close to it. The top of the seat, 17.88 pounds. So that's 39.1 pounds just removing the seats in the back. And I did that because I want that 950, and I've been searching for that, or that was my goal. Another FYI, front driver's side window with the track is about 14.5 pounds. So both of them, you're looking at almost 29 pounds of weight savings. Let's say you wanted to switch to Lexan in the front windows. So that's a 30-pound weight savings right there. For a Cougar dash with the gauges, they weigh about 23.68 pounds. The wiper motor with a transmission, I've taken that out. That's 7.78 pounds. The taillights on a Cougar, pretty heavy, 10.3 pounds each. I've been trying to think of ways to remove those and still make them look stock and operational without all that extra weight, but I'm not worried about it right now. That's just something in the future. We're going to leave the video here. I'm not going to film any more because we're about 20 minutes now, and if people watch this, hopefully you go to the end of it. I don't want to bore you anymore. I know you want to see some working shots of me tearing the thing apart again, or at least I want to get moving on it. So I appreciate you subscribing and tuning in and sharing the video. Thank you. Want to give a shout out too. I've been talking to Jason Murphy, very smart guy from down under. He's got some pretty badass Cleveland stuff. So thanks, Jason, for messaging me back and forth. It's always good to share ideas with people and talk to people that have successful motors and a nice engine program and make some power. Because I heard Cleveland's make power. Well, here we are again, pulling out the old 409. Stripping a little water. I had a little plug on the water pump and that fell off. Let me see if I can find it. But it's funny when you're doing stuff in the garage, you try to keep stuff clean, you always end up making a mess for something, for some reason. But actually it pulled right out without any issue. Let's put this on here so we're not making a huge mess. Nice and easy. So I left the headers in the car and pulled it out like this because I thought I was just going to deal with that one head issue and put it back on. But at this point, I've been thinking about dynoing it before I put it back in because I hate going through this for no reason. We all know we don't like it, pulling motors for nothing if you just get them in there. So, got inertia going. I don't like to keep them up too high. I keep it here. Put it over here. Well, I got the motor out. Not that I want to take it out without a big issue, but it's so much easier to work on when it's on an engine stand. I've been contemplating putting a motor plate in and mid plate. I don't know. That's a possibility. But right now what I'm going to do is let's pull off this flywheel. I already broke it loose with a breaker bar. I'm going to punch it here, brace it. And I use the JW, the wheel. You know, it's a heavier ring gear compared to the most stuff you see out there, the lightweight stuff. I'm telling you, I think it helps the 60 foot. That inertia, that's what they talk about, the inertia. That it allows it to have more inertia because it weighs more. But either way, I've always had good luck with them and continue to use them. It's always like a balancing act to get this to stand on. Make sure you don't cross throw them. You got to zip them up with a gun. I still like to tighten them even on it. You know, they say Bob Glidden never used engine stand. I don't know if that's true. Because the way he said it, kind of put the torque on it. When you assembled it, probably distorted it or whatever. I'm too old. I ain't Bob Glidden. I always like to move slow when you got weight on a cherry picker or an engine stand. You don't need to tip anything over or get crazy on it. It was nice to have Billy Ray help me to do stuff, you know, especially when I pulled it out in, even putting it in. It makes it so much easier when you got someone else to help you. But I've been doing it so long, just like you guys have by yourself, probably, for, you know, 20 plus years, pulling motors out on your own, and it's not that hard. You get a system down. I mean, I can have the motor in and out of here. I forgot what it was, but it went in there in like 7 minutes or something crazy like that. When the stars align and everything goes in perfect. But it's out. I'm going to get the, I got another head on here, another A3 head. I put that on so I can pull it out much easier. You know, Morgan had told me, he said, you should pull motors out with the intakes, although I've been doing it for a long time. Since hearing that, I just rather do it from the heads, not straining anything. And that intake, the Ford one, is so, let's say, lightened and opened up. It couldn't tolerate whole motor being pulled up by it. But at least I can get things looked at. I may pull this head off, check stuff out. And like I said, I'll probably reuse the gaskets than the last time I was building this. I will this time because I mean, I haven't got any runtime on it really. And we'll kind of follow along, see what we find out. Thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned. Appreciate you subscribing and sharing.